Okay. How you doing, Dr. Wilson?
Hi, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I noticed on the schedule of classes, this class is called a hybrid course. Could you please explain to us what a hybrid course is?
Sure. A hybrid class is a class that mixes online teaching and face-to-face classroom teaching. This is politics, culture, and society, so we're learning a lot about cultures. And we're going to learn about cultures by reviewing a lot of video material that has interviews with people from China, explaining in their own words how they view world affairs and social affairs in their own community. And of course we need those interview materials to give a fresh view directly from the mouths of the people. But because it's video material, it could just as well be watched at home as in the classroom. In fact, we used to watch it in the classroom, but it took up an enormous amount of class time. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet, instead of meeting 3 hours, that is 1.5 hours on Tuesday and 1.5 hours on Thursday, we're only going to meet in a face-to-face classroom on Thursdays. And then the rest of that time will be taken up by people watching videos on their own time, in their dorm room, in their apartment, or in the library if they wish to. They can watch it at their own time and their own pace. They can even pause it if they get tired of watching and come back and pick it up at the same point. And they can also go back and listen again if they didn't quite hear something that was being said in the course of the presentation. Also, when it comes time for an exam, they can readily review the material from those videos. The videos actually are of two kinds. One are a set of documentaries, basically PBS documentaries, some National Geographic documentaries, that include a lot of interview material, but with a storyline. The others are core lecture videos. This is what they are. My talking, my answering questions, in some cases for students. And they are designed to give the heart of what would be lectures that might otherwise be presented on Tuesdays. So we have two kinds of lectures. Both, however, are videotaped. Both can be watched whenever you want to, and both can be reviewed in preparation for tests. Now, some might say, well, how do you know people are going to watch the videos? And there are two ways we check on that. One is online reading comprehension quizzes, which will cover not just the videos, but the reading materials in the course. Every single Thursday classroom will have at least one or more little quizzes based on either the videos or the readings or both in preparation for that class. So outside of class, when you finish watching the video, you're going to be asked questions. That is meant to prompt one of the problems with videos, which is passive learning, people watching something but are not quite absorbing what it's saying. The questions prompt you to rethink whatever it is. And of course, if you don't know the answer to the question, you just go back and watch the video and find the answer, and then you get it correctly. Secondly, in class, we're going to use iClickers. We're going to use iClickers to record multiple choice questions that are flashed on the screen, and they'll too be based on either the video or the readings up to the period of the class period. So we have a way of encouraging everyone to be very sure they read this material and study. Now that has another advantage. That's the advantage of preventing cramming. Cramming is not a good idea. People have been saying it for years. It happens to be true. But one of the ways to avoid it is to give incentives all the way along the line for reading just a portion of it, waiting, absorbing it, listening to it in class, and then coming back and getting the next installment. And that raises the next question, which is, in addition to being a hybrid course, this is also a flipped classroom.
Yeah, could you please explain to us what flipped classroom means?
Well, flipped classroom is the idea that the older traditional lecture discussion class, which is the mainstay of all college education, has some disadvantages. First of all, it tends to be far more lecture and not much discussion. If we could find a way to take that classroom lecture material and put it outside of class, then we could use the class time for answering questions. In fact, if you think about it, it makes more sense to do it that way. You can prepare the lecture and put it on a videotape for people to watch, and then answer questions in classes. If you do it the other way around, you lecture in class, you're sitting at home trying to make sense out of your notes, you have a question you'd like to ask the teacher, but he's not there. And because it may be the middle of the night or something like that, you're reluctant to call, so you don't get the answer. So at the point where you had a question in your mind, you don't even get the answer. And that slows down the learning process. So the idea of a flipped classroom is to move as much material as you can to the online framework and then leave the classroom period open for more discussion, or in some cases for testing. So in this flipped classroom, the core lecture videos that I talk about, which are a big part of the learning process, they're put in the online portion of the course. That frees up my time to answer questions in the classroom. Secondly, it allows me to use iClickers in class. iClickers are used in a lot of classes at UTC, and very profitably. They're used, as they will be here, to check to see that people are doing the readings as they're going along. But iClickers can also be used to structure the class period.